welcome to my channel. So what I'm gonna be showing you is how to fill up the I-129F form or your petition for your alien fiancé. So where do you want to get your form? You want to visit the uscis.gov website or the website of the USCIS and just click on the form I-129F. So it is composed of 13 pages that you need to fill out. And first thing you need to know is there shouldn't be any erasures or mistakes, or the USCIS will return your petition or will deny your petition. So just making sure that you know that first, and you need to answer all questions fully and accurately. So what my fiance did is he just answered the form straight from his computer, or you can also write down your answers using black ink, but as I said, no erasures, no mistakes. All right, so let's get into the I-129F form. So as you can see on the top right portion of the form, it says it expires November 30th of 2020. So it means that we do have the updated version of the I-129F form. Okay, so on the beginning, you have to supply the information about yourself or about the petitioner's information. So that should start with the alien registration number if you do have, or USCIS online account number, or the US Social Security number. So if you do have any of that information, just write it down. And of course, on the choices between the fiancé and the spouse, just cross whatever is applicable to you. But of course, since we are talking about the fiancé visa processing, we're going to cross out the fiancé visa. Next, the petitioner will provide his or her full legal name. So that's a family name, given name, and middle name, and all the necessary information. And then for the mailing address, you need to provide the address where you would like to receive all the written correspondence for this petition. So your NOAA 1 or your NOAA 2, so indicate whether your mailing address is the same as the place that you reside. So you may want to provide that information on section 9A onwards. But if your address is just the same as your mailing address, then just cross out yes, okay? And then you may need to also provide your physical addresses for the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the United States. So that is self-explanatory. So if you need more, or if you need to write down more information, if the space is not enough for you, then you can provide that information in part 8, additional information. That's at the end of this form. So that goes the same with your employment history for the last 5 years. And if there is some information that you can't fill it out through your computer, you can just write it down using your black ink pen. All right. Continuing on, the third page of the form is another information about you. So you have to indicate whether you're a female or a male, and then you have to provide your date of birth, and also, you need to indicate your current marital status, whether you're single, married, divorced, or widowed. And also provide the name of the city or town, province or state, and country of birth. And the next will be the information about your parents, their full name, state of birth, and country of residence. Question number 37, have you ever been previously married? So you have to cross out which is applicable for you. And if you answered yes, you have to fill out the information about the name of your previous spouse. If you need extra space to complete that section, the space is provided in part 8, additional information. For your citizenship information, you need to indicate if you are born in the United States or you acquired your citizenship through naturalization or by U.S. citizen parents. So you may have to provide a document for that. You will include that in your I-129F packet. And then for the next information, you have to write down the certificate number and the place where your certification is issued and the date of issuance. That is self-explanatory. Question number 43, have you ever filed Form I-129F for any other beneficiaries? So you have to indicate it if it's a yes or a no. And if you do, you have to provide the necessary information for that, all right? Given the family name, the middle name, date of filing, and what actions did the USCIS take on Form I-129F, you have to provide that information. They can check that on their database. They do have a record of that, so make sure that you fill it up. Part 2 of the I-129F form, so you have to fill out the information about your beneficiary. So make sure that you provide your beneficiary's full legal name. And if your beneficiary has a number, you can indicate that. If not, then just leave it blank. And date of birth, gender, if it's a male or female, marital status, of course, single, married, widowed, and the place of birth. You have to provide the name of the city or town and the country where your beneficiary was born. And provide the beneficiary's current mailing address. So she or he will be receiving all the correspondence regarding this petition to his or her mailing address. You also need to provide the beneficiary's address history for the last 5 years, whether it's inside or outside the United States, and also the beneficiary's employment history within the last 5 years, so whether it's inside or outside the United States. If you need extra space for this, you may want to provide that information on Part 8, additional information. Then provide each of your beneficiary's parents' full names, date of birth, places of birth, and current cities and countries of residence. For my case, I am the beneficiary. My father is already dead, so I just write down beside his name, deceased, just so the USCIS is aware that my father is already dead. And then there is this question that, has your beneficiary ever been previously married? So you also have to indicate whether your beneficiary has been or has not been married. And if it's a yes, you have to provide the names of the previous spouse. So it is also the same with the petitioner. For question 37, has your beneficiary ever been in the United States? So you have to indicate if it's a yes or no. In my case, I'm currently in the United States when I'm trying to fill out this form or this petition. So I'm able to get all of my information from I-94. You may want to visit the CBP website at www.cbp.gov/I-94 so that you will be able to obtain your travel information regarding your recent entry in the United States. So on 38, the date authorized stay expired or will expire as shown on Form I-94. So you'll be able to see on the I-94 information when are you allowed to stay in the U.S. In my case, I'm allowed to stay for 6 months because I have the multiple 10 years entry visa. So the passport number and the travel document is just the same. So I just write down my passport number and then the time of my arrival, or if I arrive as a student, tourist, or a temporary worker. Yep, and then you provide the expiration date and identification numbers, travel documents, and whatever evidence that they need on that. And does your beneficiary have any children? Indicate if it's a yes or no. If it's a yes, just provide the names of the children on this section 40A and onwards. An address in the United States where your beneficiary intends to live. So I just write down the petitioner's address. And then your beneficiary's physical address abroad. So that will be my address in the Philippines. So I just fill it out with my address. And then your beneficiary's name and address in his or her native alphabet. So this is applicable for countries where they don't use the normal Roman alphabet. So for example, Japan or Russia Or otherwise, if it's not applicable to you, just write down NA for that section. Okay, let's proceed with question 51. Is your fiance related to you? So indicate if it's a yes or no. If it's not, then just write down NA or just leave it blank. And then question 53, have you and your fiance met in person during the 2 years immediately before filing this petition? So this is one of the requirements of filing a K-1 visa. You have to have met in person at least once within that 2 years before you file this petition. Okay, so if it's a yes, then proceed with question 54 or with item 54, wherein you describe the circumstances of your in-person meeting. So this is where I just attach a supplement to I-129F, where my fiance narrate how he met me and then how he came up with the decision of marrying me. So that is also another important information that you need to indicate that. Question 55, did you meet your beneficiary through the services of an Iamb or international marriage broker? So if you answered yes, then you might have to provide the information for that. But if it's not, then just skip it or provide or just leave it blank or write down NA or not applicable. Part 3, criminal information. So if the petitioner has been subjected to any restraining orders or if there's any criminal case, the USCIS will be able to do a research on that. But since my fiance do not have any criminal records, so I just skip it. And of course, for the other questions, you have to indicate if it's a yes or a no. For my case, it's a no. Part 4, biographic information. You have to indicate the petitioner's ethnicity, race, height, weight, eye color, hair color. Providing those information will be part of your petition, which may reduce the time that you need to spend on your appointment when you're gonna have your biometric services appointment. So that's gonna be for filing the AOS, that is after you get married. So you have to provide those information. Part 5, petitioner's statement, contact information, declaration, certification, and signature. So you have to cross out if the petitioner can read and understand English, or if you need an interpreter, or there is someone who is preparing your petition, maybe a lawyer or an authorized person. So you have to provide all the information. Next will be the petitioner's contact information. So you have to provide the petitioner's daytime telephone number or a mobile phone, and then petitioner's signature. Make sure that you have reviewed everything that you answered in the petition. Double check all the information. So every petition must contain the signature of the petitioner. A stamped or a typewritten name in place of a signature is not acceptable. So you must write down legibly and then write down the date of the signature. For the date, I just write down the date where we will submit this petition. And then if you used an interpreter to read the instructions or answer the questions on this petition, you have to provide the interpreter's full name and also the interpreter's mailing address, because the USCIS will also be doing a background check for the interpreter. All the information should be written in English, so some people may need an interpreter. And if you have an interpreter, just provide information. And then next, if you have a lawyer or someone who is preparing the petition for you, then you also have to provide the preparer's full name, preparer's contact information, and then there's a preparer's statement where he or she will indicate if he or she's an attorney or an accredited representative. So you have to cross that out. If you don't have interpreter or preparer for your petition, then you can just write down not applicable or just leave it blank. As I told you in the beginning, if you don't have extra space to provide the other information, then you go through this page, part 8, additional information. So you can indicate all of that information on this space, or you can also attach a separate sheet of paper if the columns are not enough. Just make sure to type or print your name on top of each sheet or each page. Then indicate the page number, part number, and item number to which your answer refers, and then sign and date each sheet. So going back to the website, so there are instructions provided on how you would file your I-129F. Every information is already at USCIS website, so you just have to read through it. Okay, so fill out the G1145 form. It's a form that you can use to request an electronic notification or an email or a text message to receive any updates regarding your petition. So, yep, just on the bottom page, you just complete the form with your information, and then you clip it on the top of the first page of your I-129F form. So this really helps because you can get the real-time update about your petition. Where to file your I-129F packet. The addresses are provided in the USCIS website. So if you are going to be using the US Postal Service, so here is the mailing address, USCIS PO Box 660151, Dallas, Texas 75266. And if you're going to send your I-129F packet through FedEx, UPS, and DHL, here is the mailing address, USCIS, attention I-129F, 2501 South State Highway 121 Business Suite, 400 Louisville, Texas 75067. Okay, so once you send your I-129F packet, you will be receiving a notification via email or text. And then the filing fee for I-129F is for $535. So you may also actually pay by credit card. So just click on that link, authorization for credit card transactions. But on our case, we just include our personal check payable to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So after that, you will be receiving a notification within 5 to 7 business days if the USCIS already received your packet. So it is called the NOAA 1 or I-797 Notice of Action. So it's a notice of receipt where the USCIS already received your packet. Okay, so stay tuned for the updates of our fiancé visa journey. If you have questions, just leave your comment down below and I'll try my best to answer it. And for now, that's for our I-129F fiancé visa. I hope you did learn a lot. And thank you for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.